When I first started one-wheeling, I wanted to see what I was doing. I wanted to have video to capture it and share it with my friends and just kind of enjoy afterwards what we'd done, what I'd been riding. So I got myself a GoPro, and it worked pretty well. But I found that you're kind of always in and out of the frame. You got to point it just right, or get it so far away that you can see everything, but it's so far away you can't really see it all that well. So I eventually figured out, I guess it didn't take me too long, that there are these things called 360 cams, and these have two lenses, so it's recording on one side and the other at the same time. It uses software magic to put them all together so that you can see all the way around, and so then you can put the camera closer, and then you can afterwards in your app, in the software, you could go and pick which direction you wanted it to look. You could even zoom in and out to an extent. Of course, the further you zoom in, you're going to lose resolution, but that's the same with anything. So I chose, there were basically two big companies. There's the GoPro and the Insta360. I chose the Insta360, and it worked really well. I liked it. And then when they came out with the new one, I got the next one, and they came out with the new one, I got the next one. So now they're on the third generation or more, I don't know, because they've got others in between, whatever. But now they've got the X3, and it is an improvement. It's a pretty significant improvement over the X2, which I also have. And so what this video is about is really quickly to kind of share with you the experience that I've had over the years that I've had these cameras, how to get in and out, do what you want to do, basically workflow. What's the workflow between I want to video something and then now I've got a finished product on my computer, maybe upload to Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So I'm going to show you what I've learned and the way I like to do it best. Not everybody likes it exactly the same way as I do, but I think it's the best way to do it. So I'm going to show you start to finish how to do it. So maybe you have a 360 cam and you'll learn something, or these are kind of the things I really wish that I would have known or somebody would have shown me before I bought my camera. So I'm recording this with a GoPro so that I can have my hands free to show you everything and how to do it on the 360 cam. So I have the Insta360, and the Insta360, one of the improvements about it is it has this nice big screen. And let me see if I can turn the screen on here. Yeah, there we go. So it's really usable, and you can select pretty much everything you need here. Like if you want to change your video mode, I record 4K 60 for one-wheeling. When I put this still or on a tripod, I want to see the action, but I also want that high frames per second so that I can slow it down, and just the sense of motion feels better. So I choose 4K 60. And then if you want to change it, it's that easy. You click a button and select it. So we're going to select 4K 60. Another thing to note, and the first thing you should do before you go taking this out and trying to do things with it, especially if you're going to do it in motion, is to put on the sticky lens caps. Put them on before you ever use the camera. I mean, you may drop it in your living room. So very first thing, before you go riding, before you mess with the camera, before you take it out of the box, well, that's kind of impossible. But if I could, I would. If I could pre-order it with the sticky lens cap covers, I would. Some people say, oh, if you look really carefully at the stitch line between the two lenses, when you're looking at the video afterwards, you can kind of see a little more on that. I don't care. Because you scratch a lens, you got to send it back to China. It's expensive, you lose time, guarantee you regret it. From day one, put them on, you scratch one, have a spare set, have an extra. I always keep extras so that I can pop one off, put it back on. I've done it many, many times. I hit the camera with my one wheel, it falls over, scratches a lens. Well, it doesn't scratch the lens, it just scratches the cheap little lens cover, and you're good. So, enough of that. So, you've got it at 4K 60, whatever. I've found that you almost can't be too close to the subject. I like it really close. So like, you've seen my videos, and you've seen how they come out, where I have my ramp and sometimes landing pad. If I'm regular footed and coming this direction, I like to put it somewhere between maybe here, that's really close, maybe a little further away, and down to around here, so that it's across from the landing position. Mostly the way I've found is I kind of want it a little bit forward of the ramp and a little bit back. You get too close, you got a good chance of hitting the camera with the board. You get it too far away and you're gonna have to zoom and you'll lose resolution trying to get it in there. So I like it maybe 2 feet away. Seems to give me a really good distance from the subject. And of course, plan ahead. If when you land the trick and you fail, the board tends to go in whatever direction, don't put the camera in that direction. So you set the camera down. There's basically, you can orient it any which direction as far as spinning it this way, but I found that the best way, for a fairly simple reason, is to have it, the screen of the camera facing away and the other side facing towards the action. One reason is, if you happen to hit the camera and impact it with the board, you're not going to hit the screen. The other is, just a default simple thing, is that when you go into the software to go edit your videos, you can pick any orientation, but it's already defaulted to this way. So it saves you a fraction of a second when you're editing. Anything to make things easier. So on this camera, you're going to hit the start button, and it's going to start recording. And now, the way I do it is, if I go and want to do a bunch of attempts at a trick that I'm not going to be landing very often, maybe I'm learning, I want to record so that I can analyze the footage later. A lot of people, they're going to do an attempt, they'll stop the camera. Do an attempt, stop the camera. Do an attempt. That's not the best workflow. The best workflow I've found is you just keep going until there's something you want to record. Maybe it's even a slam or whatever. Then, doesn't matter how long the recording is, go stop the camera. Because even if you do this many, many times throughout your session, you can go later and you'll know that the thing that you want to see, even if it's on a long video, is at the end of the file. So you're going to scroll to the end of the file, and then that'll be right about where you are. So one thing I figured out lately that I really enjoy is, if I'm doing something and I'm trying to learn and I want to review my videos right away, if you're recording at a really high resolution like we are at 4K 60, it won't let you review them on the camera screen. But I found you don't really need to. As long as you got sufficient cell phone battery, what I do is I leave the phone open, unlocked, on, and in the Insta360 app, which I am now. And so that video that we just took is going to be right here. That's the most recent one. We just took it. There it is. I can click it, and then scroll here at the bottom. And one thing you'll notice is that, you may or may not have noticed, that now, as of the most recent revision of this software, you can squeeze that line down. You squeeze it down. What that does now is, if it's a really long file, you don't have to keep going this, over and over and over and over and over again. It'll move very quickly through the file. Then you get to the part you want. Here's the action. You zoom in, and then you can go through very slow motion. That file doesn't really have any action. Let's pick one that does. This one probably does. It's saved, so this is probably a good one. You'll see it's in the tall orientation. I like to open it up to widescreen right away, so I'll do what I just did. I paused. When you pause, you've got your little menu down here. You got all sorts of things. Beyond the scope of this video, you can trim, you can do all that stuff, but quickly, we're talking about quick workflow. I want you to be able to just go from 0 to having everything ready to go and knowing what to do as quickly as possible. So I'm going to switch to the 16:5. Now it's in the widescreen, and like I said, you can squeeze this down so that it's now going to move through 3 minutes worth of footage really quickly. Zip, zip, boom. And now we're probably going to want it right. I scroll back a little bit to where I can see that there was the last thing that was done. And like I said, when you get to the last thing, that's when you want to That's how you know how to get there, and you're not wasting your time reviewing all 3 minutes. You're only going to review the very end. And see how I'm moving things around here? This is all simple stuff you probably already know. But I'm going to look at that and say, oh, look at me. Oh, that looks awesome. And, oh, it was a slam. I probably just saved it because to see if it looked cool, maybe for a slams compilation or whatever. And so you saw what I just did this one. We just recorded it. It's right there. So I could take a look at that and realize that wasn't anything useful there. Scroll over and delete. Clear that out. Then I'm gonna go back to writing some more and then do a bunch of attempts and whatever, and then I land something I think is cool, stop the camera, my phone's already open, I'm already in here, it's gonna take me back to this screen, I'll see the file that I just recorded, and I can review what I just did. And now let's say that this one was good enough that I wanna save it. Go back, switch it to widescreen, and squeeze in, so it goes fast, zip zip, to the end of the file. Oh, this is the other one. So I don't know what's on here. So we'll skip to the next one. You can skip to the next file on the memory card by... And so this is accessing the memory card that's on the camera right now. And it's doing it through Wi-Fi. So squeeze in, scroll to the end, go back a little bit till you find what you're looking for. I think I see myself in the background there. Maybe not. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back a little bit more. Right there, I think. Okay, there it is. I see myself in the background. So say I want this clip. I'm gonna go to trim. And this was a little confusing to me. When they added this jump cut thing, I didn't really understand what was going on. But what that does is that we're gonna do kind of like a normal cut. So it jumps to right where we were. Light that up. And then as you scroll, you'll see it's selecting part of it. And as you watch on the screen, I can see what it's recording. It's recording, there it goes, there's the flip, there's the fall. And, you know, I maybe don't need the whole thing, so I'm gonna cut it like right after I fall, right about there. So now that you've got it the way you want it, you can say no, or you can say yes. Click for yes. So now we don't have a 3-minute file anymore. When we do, it's still on there, but in our editor, it only sees a 12-second clip. Now, you can select where you want it to look, but we kind of want this thing to be selecting, I want to move, I want to pan while I'm doing this. So they have a really slick way of doing it, and it's called Viewfinder. If I could have picked a better name for that. But you go here, and you got Viewfinder. You're going to select Viewfinder, and now notice as I tilt the phone, it tilts the camera view. So get it to start where you want it to be. I want it to, originally, as things are going and starting, I want it right there. Right where I'm off in the distance and I'm able to see what's going on. So I got the my other camera, the GoPro, propped up against my chest. I think that's good. I think you can see what's going on here. So I'm gonna set it to where I'm pretty much centered there. And then when you hit this, it starts basically recording where you were looking, wherever it's tilted. So, and then if I slide the red button to the left, it's going to zoom in and get really close. If I put it out towards the planet, it's going to get way distant. I want it framed into where my whole body's in there. You can kind of see the ramp, you can kind of see the mat, and maybe a little bit of that beautiful blue sky. I don't know. So I'm going to hold the button, and now there it goes. It starts going. You can see me over there. It's tracking me, and I'm moving the phone. Boom. Ooh. Oh, spicy, or whatever. Click yes. Now it's saved that. So if I hit play again, it'll go through. It's turning. That's how you can see all that. So, you know, that was easy. So this is a step that you wouldn't have to do in a regular camera like a GoPro, but we need to do that since it's a 360 and you need to choose where you want it. If you decide, I didn't like that, I want to redo that, you can hit this, hit delete, it'll disappear, and then you can redo it. But I like it, good enough, that's fine. Then you're going to hit export, and I always do custom. And so you've got some options you can use to send it like directly to YouTube or whatever. I don't usually use that. Go to custom, It's 1080p. It won't let you go any higher than that. My frame rate, I recorded it at 60 frames per second, so I could put it at 60. On that slam, I don't think we need it. Bitrate, 50. 50 is a huge file. I've researched this. I still don't really know what's the best way, but I found that even if I take it down to 10 at 1080, the quality seems fine. The file's smaller and it exports quicker. Export. On a file this size, it won't take long. 2 seconds. And it's putting, I'm on Android, it's putting it into my gallery. In iTunes, or on Apple, it would just be in iPhoto. And it says, please open device album share. Let's open the device album. Now that takes it, there's my normal gallery in my phone. And I click here, and there it is. And you can play it, share it, do whatever. That's it. So that's a complete workflow. That's how you get from I'm doing things out there in the world, recording them, to having them done and on your phone. And I hope this is helpful. It would have been nice if I'd have known this when I first started, knowing some of those little details, and that's really all it takes. So if you're interested in maybe having a 360 cam and using it for recording your one-wheel adventures or whatever else, I love them. I think it's well worth it. They are a little bit expensive, but I think it's well worth it. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. If I have the answer, I'll give it to you. If I don't have it, I'll find it for you and point you in the right direction. Right on.